My husband left the house every Wednesday at exactly 7:14 p.m. Not around 7:14, not sometime after dinner. Exactly 7:14. The first time I noticed it, I thought it was a coincidence. The second time, I looked at the clock. The third time, I started paying attention. My husband Aaron had always been predictable. He worked from home 3 days a week, hated surprises, and followed the same routines for years. So when he suddenly developed this strange Wednesday habit, I noticed immediately. Every Wednesday, he would finish dinner, kiss me on the forehead, grab his keys, and leave. If I asked where he was going, the answer was always different. Meeting a friend, helping a coworker, running an errand, picking something up. The explanations changed, the time never did. 7:14 p.m. One Wednesday, I asked if I could come with him. For a split second, something changed in his face. Then he smiled. No, it'll be boring. That answer bothered me more than it should have, because Aaron wasn't secretive. At least he never had been before. A few weeks later, I noticed something else. Every Wednesday, he came home carrying absolutely nothing. No shopping bags, no paperwork, no takeout. Nothing that matched any of his explanations. Then I checked our bank account. No unusual purchases, no gas station charges, no restaurant charges. Nothing. It was like those 2 hours simply disappeared every week. For 3 months, I told myself I was being paranoid. Then I found the receipt. It was inside his jacket pocket while I was doing laundry. A parking garage receipt, dated Wednesday, 7:43 p.m. downtown. The problem was Aaron had told me he was helping a coworker move furniture that night. I didn't say anything. Instead, I put the receipt back exactly where I found it. That night, I barely slept. My mind kept going to the same place. Another woman. I hated myself for thinking it, but I couldn't stop. The next Wednesday, I followed him. At 7:14 p.m., he backed out of the driveway. I waited 30 seconds and left behind him. He drove across town, past restaurants, past shopping centers, past neighborhoods, then into downtown. My stomach dropped because downtown meant people, secrets, meetings, affairs. I stayed 3 cars behind him. Eventually, he pulled into the same parking garage from the receipt. I parked across the street and watched. Then I saw him walk into a building I didn't recognize. There was no company logo outside, no business sign, nothing, just a plain brick building. I waited 10 minutes, 20, 30. Then curiosity got the better of me. I crossed the street, walked inside, and immediately froze. The lobby walls were covered with photographs. Hundreds of photographs, children, families, volunteers, community events. I looked up at the sign over the reception desk, Family Resource Center. I had never heard Aaron mention it, not once. A woman behind the desk smiled. Can I help you? I almost turned around. Instead, I asked if Aaron was there. Her face lit up. Oh, Aaron's wonderful. Everyone loves him. My heart started pounding. Everyone loves him? How long had he been coming here? Then she said something that completely confused me. He's been volunteering every Wednesday for almost a year. A year. I stood there staring at her. A year. The same amount of time Aaron had been leaving the house every Wednesday. The same amount of time he'd been lying to me. But if he was volunteering, why lie? That question stayed with me all night. The next week, I followed him again. This time, I waited outside the building until he came out. When he finally appeared, he wasn't alone. A little girl walked beside him. She couldn't have been older than 10. She was laughing about something he had said. Aaron looked happier than I had seen him in months. Then she hugged him. My entire body went cold. I sat frozen behind the steering wheel. Who was she? Why was she hugging my husband? Why had he never mentioned her? For the first time, I genuinely considered the possibility that Aaron had a secret child. Nothing else made sense. That night, I confronted him. I asked where he had been. He gave another excuse. A different one this time. That was the moment I knew he was still hiding something. So I told him the truth. I told him I had followed him. I told him about the building. I told him about the little girl. The color drained from his face. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then he sat down and started crying. In 12 years of marriage, I had seen Aaron cry twice. This was the third. Finally, he looked up and told me everything. A year earlier, while driving home from work, he had witnessed a car accident. A drunk driver hit another vehicle. Aaron was the first person to stop. Inside the damaged car was a woman and her daughter. The woman survived.
Barely. The daughter was the little girl I'd seen. During the months that followed, Aaron kept checking on them. The mother couldn't work because of her injuries. Medical bills piled up. Life became difficult. Aaron started helping. At first it was rides, then paperwork, then volunteering at the community center where they received support. Eventually he became part of their lives. Not as family, not as a replacement father, just someone who showed up when nobody else did. I asked the question that had been destroying me for months. Why didn't you tell me? Aaron looked down. Then he gave an answer I never expected because he knew exactly how it would sound. A married man spending hours every week with another woman and her daughter. He was afraid I would misunderstand. So he lied. And every lie forced another lie until he couldn't figure out how to tell the truth anymore. Then he reached into a drawer, pulled out a stack of envelopes, and handed them to me. Every envelope was addressed to me. Unsent letters for nearly a year. Letters explaining everything. Letters he had written dozens of times. Letters he never had the courage to give me. The last one had been written 3 days earlier. I opened it. The first sentence made me cry. If you're reading this, I finally found the courage to stop lying to the person I love most. We sat there for hours talking about the accident, about the lies, about the fear, about the damage secrecy can do, even when the truth isn't terrible. A month later, Aaron took me to the community center himself. I met the little girl. I met her mother. And for the first time, the entire story finally made sense. The thing that nearly destroyed our marriage wasn't an affair. It wasn't betrayal. It wasn't another woman. It was a secret that should have never been a secret in the first place.
A lot of people ask where I find stories like these. If you'd like to read more, send me a DM with the word stories and I'll send you the source.